Today we have some very interesting news of Jung Kook talking about his music coming very soon. We have an American celebrity attacked, and then an enlistment date of Jung Kook being talked about, and then we have V giving a hug goodbye. So hey Dumplings, if Dave decide hater or not, make sure you subscribe with the notification bell on, grab your dumplings, hastily mug merch, and let's go. J-Hope is recently believed to be going to the military extremely soon, like possibly in a couple of days. And I wanted to just kind of talk about some of the previous moments we have seen and how cute it was. Recently, V, J-Hope, and Jung Kook went on a live stream. Given the lights that we see in the background of the stream, we can easily see that the stream took place over at Jung Kook's apartment. He has a microcosmos lamp. This is one of the merch items that Jung Kook dropped, and it projects this beautiful, out-of-this-world light into the room. So just from that, we knew that V and J-Hope were chilling at Jung Kook. Jung Kook didn't appear on the stream at first, and it was just the two of them when J-Hope came on screen. Of course, the first thing that anyone notices was that he got his new haircut. It wasn't shaven like Jin, where it was completely bald, but J-Hope went the route of just cutting the top part of his head shorter, and then the sides were completely shaved. So honestly, it still looked like a cut that a K-pop idol would have, just a bit shorter. This way, J-Hope kept his style, and it doesn't have to be a full bald head. So this was a great way for him to do it, and probably the version of the haircuts I would opt for, as I'd be too shy to go completely buzzed or bald. J-Hope and V decided to turn on the lights a bit more so we could get a closer look at everything and decided to show off the new cut. Very soon after, V made sure to talk about how J-Hope was indeed enlisting very soon and ready to go. And very quickly, people thought that this meant that J-Hope would be enlisting within the next day or so. And this is simply not the case. J-Hope wanted everyone to not panic yet, but I think what was cute was that people took note of how emotional V got in that moment. He made sure to give J-Hope a big hug, and it made everyone else feel very emotional. People felt like that hug represented all of ARMY trying to hug J-Hope goodbye, or even that this was confirmation that the boys did not want to go. And here's the thing. The boys talk about wanting to serve their country and helping, but I think there's a very big difference between wanting to serve your country and wanting to give up your career. I think everyone in some capacity wants to, let's say a smaller example, serve food at a soup kitchen during the holidays. You'd be serving your community, but just because you want to do that doesn't mean that you'd want to call off work if you have work that day. And you're usually paid time and a half or double, so you definitely don't want off that day. Or if you are just busy making food for your family. So there's nothing wrong with wanting the latter option, but that's a decision you'd have to make. You realize it can't be both, but it doesn't mean you hate one option versus the other. J-Hope talked about initially applying for postponement because he wanted to delay the service for as long as possible. So J-Hope likely wants to serve, but of course it's tough because the industry is extremely momentum based. For example, an artist that puts out really good music one after the other every month is going to grow much faster and make a lot more money than an artist that releases a really good song once every 5 years. However, while that is true, the artist that does release a good song once every 5 years, if it's indeed a good song, they can still make it back into the media and people would still remember them. Adele does this a lot, so BTS really has nothing to worry about there. It's believed that J-Hope will go next, and then possibly Jimin, Suga, maybe V, maybe RM. I don't know the order, but a lot of people believe it's going to be Jung Kook that goes last. But given that V has still yet to really release anything for his solo album and is mostly just doing TV appearances and shows like Jennie's Kitchen, he might actually end up going last. I do react to Jennie's Kitchen over on Patreon if you want to check that out. It's such a fun series and we get to see Taeyang cook and joke around. Of course, we all always have a good time together over there, laughing and stuff, so I will link the Patreon in the description. There's still a limited $1 tier that is open. Hope to see you there. But going back, Jung Kook is believed to be working on music now, and recently was even seen in the studio doing some stuff. A video came out where we got to see a Bang PD in the studio with Jung Kook in the booth. A little thing that people tend to know is that Bang PD lately does not show up everywhere, and he usually isn't in the studio with the artists anymore. He is no longer the CEO, but he is still the founder and the chairman. So while he no longer manages all all the activities of the company, he still has power during the board meeting and has opted to be more in charge of the creative process with the many artists in the label rather than like the business, stock, or financial stuff. So for Bang PD to be in the studio with Jung Kook means that he has taken time to be there for some reason rather than dealing with the many other artists that are in his label. This is all part of the speculation that Jungkook's album is coming out soon, and not only soon but will likely make huge waves here in the US. If Jungkook is working on his solo album with a lot of American or US singers and producers, it could actually make sense for Bang PD to get in the studio to be able to maintain those connections. This way, newer artists in HYBE can also work with these producers. And this is how connections are made and why it's sometimes important for a publicist or manager to follow the artist around in important events. The manager will collect business cards and basically create a list of connections that they can call upon should an artist need to collaborate with someone. A label's manager or team can do one better and collect numbers from a US producer and be able to open that US producers to hundreds of K-pop acts that they would normally not have any access to. Now, this is just what can happen. However, HYBE has worked directly with the American labels for many years now, so the connections have likely already been there, and Bang PD is just there to oversee this historic event. Recently, an American artist by the name of Ryan Tedder actually posted a photo of him in the studio with P-Dog and Bang PD. Bang PD, we know who he is, as I have just mentioned, and if you're not aware, P-Dog is the other BTS producer. He worked on a lot of BTS songs and has worked alongside the other BTS members' solo projects too. Now, a little backstory on Ryan Tedder. A lot of K-pop fans aren't aware of many of the Western artists that exist and their impact. So if you do know who he is, then that's great. If not, bear with me. Ryan is a phenomenal artist. He is the lead singer in a band called One Republic, and he is also one of the best songwriters in the Western industry. He wrote some of the biggest hits like Halo by Beyonce and has written a lot of songs for Beyonce as well as Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Adele, Rihanna, Ed Sheeran. I could go on for days. And he was supposed to work with Blackpink a little while ago. But if you're wondering what happened with that song, it never happened because the way songs work is that artists will record literally a bunch of songs, and obviously it will be with a bunch of producers, and the label will usually pick which song goes on the album. Their decision is based on image, likelihood of the song being a hit, things like that. It was shocking that Ryan didn't make the cut because his name is so big. So usually with producers like Ryan, if you pay the premium X amount of money to work with him, you'd expect him to make it on the album because they spent so much money and he's so famous. But he did not make it. Now, back to the photo Ryan posted, we don't see Jungkook in there, but his team is, and people think that this photo could mean that there was at least a meeting that happened where Ryan was talked about being on the album. And people got very excited over this idea that Ryan was going to write for Jungkook. Almost anything that Ryan touches turns into a hit. If not a main single, it at least turns into a highly acclaimed song on the album. And almost any Western song that is really good, you can almost bet that you'd find Ryan's credit on there. So for Jung Kook, a World Cup performer working with Ryan, they'd both probably create history. Now, this is all fine and dandy. Of course, we don't have anything confirmed yet, and everything is just speculation. However, people were upset that this was quote-unquote confirming that Jungkook was going to go to the military. Because once he makes his song after he is done promoting it, it's going to be right off to the service. And while of course we don't want them to go, we definitely want to hear music from them. So it's a very bittersweet moment, and people think the enlistment date for Jungkook is a lot sooner than they would hope. I think people thought that they maybe had a year, but it looks like it's in a few months. People have also taken this time to be upset that Jungkook is possibly working with Ryan Tedder. This argument I don't really understand. Anyone who comes near the boys will receive some sort of backlash, and it's so stupid. People were bringing up things that don't really make any sense. Ryan has never had a scandal where it was like rape or anything bad like that. His alleged controversies are more so with music and copyright and those sorts of things. So Jungkook is literally safe if he decides to work with Ryan. So y'all can calm down. And please don't spoil this and attack Ryan, because when I say he is iconic, and you need to listen listen to his music if you have not heard. And this is a big opportunity for Jung Kook. Let me know what you think. Make sure you check out my Patreon for more videos. Link down below. I think it's this lovely comment right here. Love you. Bye.